Today's November 4th. Today's quote is entitled, "What is True?" And it's similar to yesterday's quote because it's coming from the same article or the same course. Sometimes we don't want to face what is true, but instead prefer to exchange it for what we wish to be true. We don't want to face what is true, but rather exchange it for what we wish to be true, what we like to pretend is true. So it's the same idea as yesterday. We don't want to face what's true. So let's continue with yesterday's thought, because I was actually talking about something I wanted to speak longer about. It's the chart. So we asked the students, write down what you don't like about the world. Let's make a chart of things you don't like. And people don't like violence. Some said they don't like animal killing. They don't like the social political environment. Just so many things we don't like. So it was both social, political, and then the hardwired, birth, old age, disease, and death, and the violence, and so forth. Then, as I mentioned yesterday, we asked them, well, if you could make the world, in other words, God hired you and said, now you have all the power, design the world the way you would think it should be, the way you'd like to make it. And so that's what we did. We said, okay, then we write that down on a flip chart. How would you like to make the world? Love, peace, we don't get old, no sickness, everyone helps one another, and so forth. And so it's a really interesting exercise, because now you're confronted with a reality that the world is just not the way you like it to be. It's not the way you would make it if you could make it. And the way you would make it is much different. And so we really were designing a world the way we wish it to be. But the point of this quote today is that when people engage in this world, oftentimes they're engaging under the illusion that things will be a certain way. They're seeing it, they're visualizing it in a certain way, but it's not the way it actually is, and that's where we get frustrated. If you could see clearly how things are, you would never try to enjoy the material world, because you would realize in advance that you can't enjoy it. So Maya, illusion, is the opposite. When you want to enjoy something, then what you do, what I do, what we do, is we paint a picture in our mind that this is what it's going to be like. Hey, would you like to go here? And you say, yeah, I'd like to go. And then you start visualizing what it's going to be like, how you're going to enjoy, how much fun it's going to be. Yes? So on and so forth. Isn't it like that? Yeah. So you say things like, I'm really looking forward to doing this. Well, what does that mean? It means you have a vision in your mind of what it's going to be like, and you're looking forward to it being a certain way. Yes? And that's what drives us to enjoy. It's the picture of what we think is going to happen and what we're going to get. And as Prabhupada says in Bhagavatam, sometimes you get it, and sometimes you don't. You get it because that drives you on further and keeps us going in the material world. But it's that illusion of what we think it's going to be like, but it isn't actually like that. And I think the biggest illusion in this regard is married life. That we all have a picture when we're thinking of how the relationship with our partner is going to play out, what it's going to look like, how we're going to feel, what the whole experience is going to be. We create a picture of something that's not real. And then when you realize later on down the road what it's really like, you can become very frustrated because your expectations were unrealistic. That's the nature of Maya. She creates unrealistic expectations in our mind because we have such a strong desire to enjoy. So we have all these ideas in our mind of how we're going to enjoy, how it's going to be, isn't it? If you want to exist in the material world without being frustrated, you have to have expectations that are realistic. But Maya is always going to try to upgrade the expectations because that gets you going. If you just work hard, you'll get this, you'll get that. you'll achieve this and that, and then you'll be happy. So that'll take me 20 years. For 20 years, I'm going to be miserable, because in 20 years, I'll get the house on the beach and the car and the wife and the kids, and then everything will be perfect. So we know as devotees, or at least we're supposed to know, that external situations don't make it perfect. Consciousness, you become Krishna conscious, it makes it perfect. But if we relate this to Grihastha life, which is so important, don't enter a relationship thinking it's going to be something it isn't, because you'll become frustrated. Enter it with the practical realities. Grihastha life is hard work. It is. And it takes a lot of tolerance, patience, and sensitivity, and so many things, so many qualities you're going to have to develop to make it work. So don't have any illusions about it. And don't have any illusions about anything in the material world, because you'll be let down.